Okay, hi, I'm going to pack this into a short amount of time because people have an exponential amount of stuff to get to here in the conference. My name is Kerstin. I teach in Westport, Connecticut in the USA. And I teach a middle school gifted program. I've been teaching for 27 years. I have taught at a gifted school that's a private school in Brooklyn, New York. Fascinating school, no grades. And a private school, you have to have an IQ of 140 or above to get in, at least when I taught there. They may have changed the criteria. It was so groovy. They did not want trained teachers. They hired teachers with no experience just because they were quirky. And it was a wild experience, one I'll never forget. That was fantastic. St. Anne's School for the Gifted. I think Lena Dunham went there, if you guys watch that series, Girls. She's one of the alums. I've also taught at a public school in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I helped them recreate their gifted program, and I was there for 2 years, and that was very exciting. And I worked with Dr. Karen Rogers, if you know her. She's amazing in the field of gifted at the University of St. Thomas. And now I run a middle school gifted program in a public school in Westport, Connecticut. And I've been there for 16 years. And it's so cool because kids come back from college to visit me. And we talk about the philosophy that we worked on together, the various projects kids have made. The way I run my program, it's a pull-out program. And kids kind of pick what they want to study and do. And it's very rewarding. But I kind of wanted to reach out beyond the parameters of the identified children. And I'll tell you how I got involved. I wish I had internet because I would show you a little snippet of this video. This you'll want to write down. One of the nicest, most uplifting videos you will ever see on the internet is called Caine's Arcade, with the letter C. C-A-I-N-E'(S), arcade. This is how it starts. It's a little 9-year-old boy. His father has a used auto parts store in East LA. Not the best neighborhood. They don't have that much money, so the little boy is not at summer camp. He's just hanging around his dad's used auto parts store. Not too many walk-in customers, so there's not a lot to do. However, his dad gets parts, unpacks it out of the cardboard boxes. There's this pile of cardboard boxes. The little boy loves going to arcade games. Cardboard boxes, loves arcade games. He just starts building his own. He builds these charming little interactive boxes, and he sets it up, and he's so excited, and then he thinks of another challenge, and so he builds it, and he makes a little claw machine, and then he thinks of another cool game, and he builds that. Soon enough, the front of his dad's used auto parts store is a cardboard arcade. One day, a man came by who needed a handle for his car. He turned out to be a filmmaker. He walks in, and he's confronted with this amazing arcade. So he goes to the kid and says, "I want to play." And the kid says, "Well, you can either buy a couple of tickets or you can get a fun pass. And a fun pass gives you 500 tries." So he buys a fun pass. And he plays the games, he's trying them out, and when he wins, when this filmmaker wins, the 9-year-old boy climbs inside the cardboard box. There's a little slot, and he sticks the tickets through the slot so that when you win, you get these tickets straight from the 9-year-old boy. So charming. So the filmmaker says to the guy's father, "Hey, I want to make a film about your son." And the father says, "Well, it's kind of a little joke around here. You're his only customer." The filmmaker says, "That's crazy. This is great." He gets on Reddit, and he makes a little Facebook group, and he says, "Hey, you guys, everyone come down to Caine's Arcade on Saturday, October 4th or something." And so hundreds of people from all over LA show up to make this little boy smile. The dad takes the little boy out for lunch while everyone sets up signs and balloons and all these things. And the little boy comes back expecting another quiet day with nobody, and there's a huge crowd cheering for him and can't wait to play his games. You will get goosebumps. It is the most wonderful, inspiring film. It's about 9 minutes long, very worth your time. So I watched that film when it first came out, and it went viral. It was all over the place. People started sending money because they could see that Caine, didn't have a lot of money. Money was pouring in from all over the place. Caine now has $250,000 scholarship money from all this money that came in. But more money was coming in. And so the filmmaker realized there have to be more Caines out there in the world. So he starts the Imagination Foundation. And that's where I joined in. They decided they were going to set up around the world 30 imagination chapters. And I was one of the pilot leaders. There were people from, and here's my 1 page of notes, there were people from South Africa, the United States, Australia, Canada, the UK, Colombia, Bosnia and Herzegovina. So all of us volunteered for something we didn't know what it was going to be. We knew we were going to work with children and inspire them to try creative tasks. So we got involved, and we had this wonderful coordinator named Alice Lynn. And Alice Lynn is based in Los Angeles. And how do you work with simultaneous groups around the world? Google. Google has wonderful tools. Google Hangout. We would have several people all in a video chat at the same time, which you can speak and be seen on the video, but you can also type to each other, and you can also draw on people's faces while they're talking. I did that quite a bit, made mustaches and things. It was great fun. So we had a marvelous time. So those Google tools were really terrific for creating an international connection. My group met after school at the Westport Public Library. And as a result, I had students from 4 different towns who came and joined us, from about age 9 to about age 14. So really a wide range of ages, which is another exciting reason not to have it at a school. School tends to think in terms of everyone who's 10 years old is together, everyone who's 11-year-olds, it's very separate age-wise. So that was wonderful to have it after school, to have several different kids get together. The Imagination Foundation also partnered with some really interesting people. Make Do is a company that makes plastic connectors for cardboard, so your structures can be larger and more interesting. We worked with littleBits, which you should check out the 5-minute TED Talk by the littleBits founder. She decided that she wanted to make electronics as cool and easy as a brick. And so she has these magnetic components where you make circuits, you can make things light up, you can make sounds, you can program Arduinos, there's wireless transistors. So we received a free kit of that. Oh, my kids went crazy. We also, what else did we receive? We received things from SparkFun, which is Makey and Arduino. But I also believe in old-fashioned fun. What drew me to Caine's Arcade was the simplicity of cardboard, the way that that's accessible all over the world. So we did a lot with cardboard, and I also challenged my students to make giant puppets. So we made these big puppets for a puppet parade at the Westport Maker Faire. That was our culminating event. So, gee, I wonder if there's any form of sound. If there's no form of sound, you will get to see this silently, and that's okay. Let's see if we can play this. Play. Oh. Is it working? Yes. This is from a global cardboard challenge. I had 150 people come for this. And it was a Star Wars theme, so they built R2-D2s and things. Here they are covering sketch journals. And you get to see the individual kids that I got to work with. I challenged them to make an entire town using nothing but index cards, scissors, and tape. So they build these fantastical worlds out of the simple materials. gave them all a paper bag. And I challenged them to make hats and costumes out of the paper bags. He wanted to make the tallest hat he could. And we made a considerable mess every single time we got together. Here they're building all kinds of structures with cardboard, and these are the littleBits. You can see they're just little components, but very easy to connect. No soldering necessary. And so it frees the children to make sophisticated things quite simply. Here we made 3D pop-up cards using X-Acto blades and cardstock paper. So we really got into paper engineering because I wanted them to combine the littleBits with the paper engineering. They went off in their own directions. And we collaborated closely with the Westport Library. That's the assistant director meeting with us and working with us. Then we started engineering our large-scale puppets. We looked at puppets from the Broadway show War Horse. We looked at puppets from the Broadway show Wicked. Obviously we looked at Muppets. And this is Augmented Reality. This is an app you can get on your phone for free. And it looks like the photos jump off the page. I have connections to all of this online. They're amazing. So now we're engineering our puppets, and we're thinking about how to structure joints, how to build large things that will support fabric, and building little prototypes. We had quite a few birds. It was really fun. These boys are building a Mongolian death worm, which doesn't exist in real life, but and little joints with rods to manipulate the puppets. And PVC pipe became our best friend because it's cheap and strong and easy to work with. I love that there was a great deal of girls in here, and so there was no barrier to the engineering. We also had international pen pals. We sent these to, we sent little greetings to kids around the world. So that gives you a little taste of what we did. And let me look for the star at the bottom here. There we are. So here's our actual puppet parade. I'll only show you, this is only 3 minutes long. I'll just show you a little bit of this. There we go. So here are the kids getting ready to run around and have their parade. Here we go. So what we have every year in Westport, we have what's called a Maker Faire. And that is for artists, engineers, robotics, drones, woodworkers, potters, all kinds of alternative arts and engineering. And it's very grassroots. I think if it's one word to take away from what I'm sharing with you, it's the word grassroots. And I think it's very interesting. It ties in with what I think it's Margaret Sutherland, right, our keynote. When I asked her at the end, how did you get this going? And she said, we stepped out of our institutions and just talked to each other. That's how things really change the world, is grassroots. So isn't that adorable? They did such a great job. So that's really it. I just wanted to share what the Imagination Foundation has done to reach children. Last year was the first year we did this. And in the paper that you'll get, if you want, it's online. In the paper that you'll get, you will get reflections from my fellow chapter leaders from Cape Town, South Africa, Indianapolis, and also Alice Lynn, the chapter leader. Very thoughtful stuff. You can hear about what it meant to them. But this year, they've expanded the program. It was 30 last year. It's going to be 100. We're trying to reach into countries that we didn't reach before. And it's really just people who volunteer. I volunteered all year to do this, and it challenged me. I've never done Google Hangouts before. I've never done littleBits before. I've never built giant puppets before. So every time I went in, I'm wide open and ready to try new things. And I think if you take away grassroots volunteering and being wide open to learn right along with your kids, there's a recipe for success that goes international. Thank you very much. Oh, questions. I wasn't expecting questions. Yes?
I have a question. It looks very nice, and you see that children are having fun and are passionate in working. But you might have other goals with the project, so I'm interested, what are the specific goals, and did you do any evaluation yet? Or
excellent question, because I forgot to tell you something. The Imagination Foundation runs this. Now, I'm just the volunteer, so I just ran one chapter. But in Los Angeles, Alice Lynn and the Imagination Foundation, they run this whole thing. And there are people above Alice, but I don't remember everybody's names. Yes, they worked with, I believe, the University of Indiana. The University of Indiana decided to do a study of children's creativity. So all the kids in our chapter had a pre-survey where they had to answer questions about their own attitudes toward creativity. They also had to draw an invention and describe it. So we sent all that. From all 30 chapters, we sent it to Indiana. Then at the end, the kids had the identical same questions and same task. So there's no results yet, because we just sent it in like a month or two ago.
So we have to be...
There you go. Indiana University, and really it's about the mission and the agenda of the Imagination Foundation is literally to find and support kids like Caine all over the world, cutting across socioeconomic barriers, just really celebrating human potential. So that's the mission. But Indiana University should have interesting information about what they've learned about creativity around the world.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you for asking that. Yes?
Who designs the curriculum next year?
This first year, it was very interactive. The Imagination Foundation gave us some boundaries and parameters. They were very loose. And so some people did Rube Goldberg machines. Another group decided they were going to make toys for animals in animal shelters. Other people hosted events that raised money for charities. So there were so many different ideas around the world. I can't even name them all. So this first year, pilot years are great for people like me because I just want to plunge in and try new things. Next year, I think they're going to have a little bit clearer idea based on the feedback they got from all of us. So really, the program is growing and being shaped by the people who are participating, and it's going to improve and move on. So for the 100 participants, I think they're going to get more of a manual, more specific ideas of things to do. But there's a part of me that's a rebel that really loves a certain amount of creative freedom. Because I discovered that the kids informed me what they wanted to do. And I really believe that you have to leave the room and flexibility for that. There's always got to be the room for the students to input and take ownership of what's going on. But yes, it's evolving as we go along. So they're going to clarify their vision, clarify what they want the 100 groups to do this year. So, yes?
Website?
Website, yes, and I have my card with my email address, but it's just Imagination Foundation. Imagination Foundation, and you'll see a little circle with a blue circle with a little white letter I on it, and I gotta tell you, their website's fantastic. You can actually get on and see little snippets from all 30 chapters around the world. You'll see photos, you'll see what kind of things they did, videos, websites, links. So really, you don't need my presentation. Just go to Imagination Foundation and you'll see pictures from the Global Cardboard Challenge, which I think, did I write down how many people were involved in that? The Global Cardboard Challenge is still my favorite part. And this was, here we go. Last year, 2014 in October, over 125,000 participants from 46 countries, from Los Angeles and Melbourne to Bogota and Kuala Lumpur. 46 countries participated in the Cardboard Challenge. Any other questions? I don't want to take time away from the next person. Very good. All right, thank you.